Welcome to the Açores. We're back on gravel. It's round 4 of the European Rally Championship. Well, we took some prisoners on the opening day. We're about to get underway to the very final stage of what has been an extraordinarily busy rally. Yes, set as it is in the middle of the Atlantic. The rain batters this part of the world, and yesterday around the lip of the volcano, well, you may or may not have seen in the opening run, it caused plenty of problems. Glorious scenery, of course, but really when you're in the car, it's all about a green tunnel of near hell on a skittery surface that challenges the very, very best. Well, climate change and, of course, setup changes to match those. Tronquera gets underway in just a few moments' time. 22.2 kilometres to be dealt with. They've just run over 20 kilometres in the stage that has just finished. That's Grand Ace, may I tell you. The opening day. Kubica doing a stunning job. He did so in the Canarias, of course. He came unstuck there, and he's done so once again. What a shame. Kubica rolling on 11 then, and yes, up until that point was challenging for the lead, in fact sharing duties with Kopecky. Valentine also found out, the German coming unstuck, as you can see, dropping to 19th overall, did get going again. Likewise Kubica, I might add. Fan cam, always handy when you want to see it from outside, if we don't happen to be in attendance. So that was Kopecky hitting the bank on 8, leading after day 2. Yes. Kopecky continuing his winning ways today, I might tell you. Had an intercom issue, just couldn't tell his co-driver whether he was ahead of the notes or behind. More difficult than perhaps you may have thought then, driving under such circumstances. And so we wait for Valentine to get us underway here. We'll be live in just a few moments' time. So you saw Sousa as well, also having his issues. In fact, here he is. The first of the day was 5th overall yesterday. Went out on the road, unfortunately, and into retirement. Real shame. He was running extraordinarily well, Bernardo. Taking a couple of stages on day 1, don't forget, stages 8 and 9, after issues for others. And it seems local knowledge does play a hand here, but quality, well, there's no counting against it. Great operation, you might say, for Kopecky in the morning stages. A win on stage 13, and sort of sharing the love, if you like, with Ricardo Moura. But save for losing that one, shorter one on stage 15, he really has been the dominant force here so far. And I can tell you that Kopecky won the penultimate stage, stage 18. He and Craig Breen battling at the top. We'll be back live in just a few moments' time. Welcome back. We're about to get underway. It'll be Mark Valentine that starts us here. Jan Cherney, unfortunately for him, he was running in Super Rally, but on 13 he went out again after engine problems back on stage 8. So it'll be Valentine that starts us off. There's your start list here. Kubica will then go, who's still running here. He was quite lucky really that stage 12, the second run through the volcano section yesterday, was cancelled after rolling on stage 11. It meant that he was able to continue and just get out of the stage despite a very second-hand looking vehicle. This is Valentine. Sitting next to me is Guy Wilkes. Guy, it's there's still places to battle for here, but this perhaps is about keeping the car safe.
Especially for Mark Valentine. He had lucky escape yesterday, and had a message from an old engineer of mine. Said the atmosphere in the service park was fantastic to get this guy back on the road. There was a number of mechanics from different teams helping out. He said it was just true old school rally spirit.
Fantastic. And, this is what they're dealing with. It is a long one. They just had a very long one, so we've got over 40 kilometres to deal with in the last 2 stages. It's really the mint of this rally, and I'm just wondering whether he's going to take a proper bite out of this. There you can see the profile. It's a bit like a flattened out bowler hat, but it wiggles all over the place, as is the norm here in the Azores. He's handy. He's the German champion. Got a left front damage yesterday on stage 9, and no rear windscreen, and really hobbled his way from that moment on. But fog and oversteer, his main worries earlier on today.
They'll still want to finish the rally with a good result, you know, or a good push and a good feeling in the stage, but this stage is so tricky in the middle. That's where, like you said before, the real meat of the sandwich is. And this section, as he's driving up now, is a very quick start, and it gets a lot more twisty in nature after this.
The variable surfaces, I mean, thank heaven, at least it looks dry at the moment, or the camera is also picking up rain, and that can change at any moment in a heartbeat. If you have got a little bit of surface water here, it does tend to make the earth sections, which you've got now, a little bit less predictable, you might say. But there's some tarmac intermediaries as well as we link road sections, and that always causes a worry, and there's a lot of drivers been talking about that today.
Yeah, a lot of drivers have been trying to conserve the tyres on the tarmac sections, because this is a long, well, the 3 stages add up to a great amount of kilometrage, 50 kilometres this loop, and they don't want to use the tyres on the tarmac section where they have obviously a chance to burn the tyres out and have less effect gripping into the gravel when they need it.
It's Kubica about to get underway now. It seems he's on or off, almost literally. Stage 11, he took that roll, don't forget, but managed to limp through, thankfully, because stage 12 was cancelled, and as a result, Kubica and Mashisek Baran here, they're doing some proper work, although equally so. They're hovering around about 56 places on most of the stages in the latter part of this, although on 15 they finished 3rd, and I've got to tell you, we're runners-up on stage 16 as well, but it's been 6 on 17 and 18 coming here. He kind of described as a new boy, but he's got so much talent. He's got a great vehicle as well, and he's making it sing, but just still getting caught out.
He's a fantastic talent behind the wheel of anything, it seems, you know. Obviously he's come from Formula 1, and he's taken his hand to rallying like a duck to water. He's doing a fantastic job. Obviously made a couple of mistakes, but not small ones at that, I must point out, Carlton. You know, he's had a mistake yesterday. He said he thought he didn't make a big error, but obviously ended up going over twice.
Yeah, same deal in the Canaries, I guess, where he was just dominating proceedings. Jan Kowetski played a waiting game there. It may well be that it's a waiting game today, especially between Jan Kowetski and Craig Breen on board with Paul Nagel. Craig Breen, they have announced that if things were all square with a couple of stages still to go in terms of the distance between them, they come into this one incidentally with 26.7 seconds separating them. We wait for Craig Breen to get underway a little bit later on, but yes, it'll be fascinating to see just how hard he pushes on Tronquera 2.
Even though I said this isn't the meat in the sandwich, you can see how tricky this section is. You have got no margin for error. Those big trees are just waiting to collect a wheel, or, you know, if you slide slightly wide, you're going to get the well, here we can see it's very tricky. He's had to scrub the speed off the car twice in one corner just to correct the line of the car. Yeah,
absolutely. You can see as well where some of the trees have actually been nicked by other vehicles. Not a great deal of overtaking room here, and if you happen to be on holiday, yes, you do have to move over and take things very, very easy. Hire cars in this part of the world extremely expensive, and you can see why. Yeah, get it wrong once and you're going to get it very wrong. That happens to Kubica. We're watching him right now. Doesn't look like we've got that much on board with Kubica today. I'm hoping we can get inside the vehicles before you know it, but he's underway, and this is about just delivering the car in.
I guess so, but at the same time, you know, he's a professional driver, and he'll not want to tootle around, especially you can see today. Didn't like the fog yesterday. He wasn't scared of hiding that fact, but we can see okay at the moment. We might expect a little bit of fog as the vegetation gets a little bit more dense in this stage, and it will.
Yeah, he remains amazingly calm whenever we talk to him at the end of a stage. Even if he's had some rough stuff, he's just one of those people that seems to eschew any kind of nerves on a regular basis. Glorious greenery you see in this part of the world. That's because it rains like crazy. That's what caught us out yesterday. Kubica on a bit of a charge then at the moment. Nothing too serious. He's sort of bedded in. He's 5 minutes and 44 down on 5th place, which is Ancien, the Frenchman in the Peugeot 2 S2207, and he has a cushion of 4 minutes and 40 over Bruschetta, who's driven amazingly well in the Subaru to get himself in that Impreza STI N15 car up to 7th place. Some real great battles further down the order here. Terrific on board from the man ahead, Valenvine, who looks like he's on a mission here. Actually, Valenvine, he's not holding back.
I think we might be watching Kubica here. It seems like we've got the helicam and the onboard. Yeah, we have.
That's why he appeared to be on a mission. Valentine in the hands of Kubica. Do forgive me. There we go then, underneath some of the vegetation. Just waiting to pick up on our next starter. Actually, don't look for Jean-Michel Rallye. Unfortunately for him, he has retired on stage 13, the opener of today. And so our first split with Kubica coming up to the 4.9 kilometre. We'll have a second one at 10.88 along the way here. I'm hoping we're going to get a graphic rack for you to deal with.
Perfect situation there. You can see how the surface changed, middle of the corner. I don't know if he had it in his notes, we couldn't hear the notes, but that's the sort of thing you can catch you out, because the level of grip change is instant. As soon as you hit that watery section, if it's on clay, it's like driving on ice.
Let's get on board.
10, lewy 4 media, zostań, prawy 6, zacisk 3, zostań, do lewy 3, zostań, prawy 3, fast długi, 30, chudo,
You can definitely see the mud's a lot stickier under the trees. Obviously the rain hanging around and the sun not getting to it.
Absolutely. We were talking about the green tunnels earlier on, Guy, and you're seeing one right now.
A lot of things on the side of the road as well. We saw some concrete just earlier, and obviously some wooden stakes there showing the side of the road.
When the fans wave like that, they're clearly getting themselves on TV, knowing that the helicopter can't actually trace them at the moment because of the tree cover. But I always wonder whether that's just a warning sign. I guess you get to know the difference depending on how frantic they are. Right now, this is a joy to watch.
Do lewy 5 krótki, 40, późno, lewy 3 fast, zostań, do prawy 3 slow, zostań, lewy 2 media, 40, hamuj, lewy 0, slow.
As you're saying, Guy, a real coup for the European Rally Championship to actually get Robert Kubica involved. And the way he was running it at the top of this rally, it kind of mirrored what went on in Gran Canaria. A lot of success early on, and then all of a sudden, just an error that, you know, he's the first to hold his hands up and say, you know, he's perhaps trying to snatch her.
Maybe, I mean, only the man knows himself, but he doesn't have a great deal of pressure on him. You know, obviously, the only pressure he feels is the pressure he puts on himself, I suppose, because it's not his profession. Although he's doing a cracking job, and people's expectations of him are changing rapidly.
To be fair, he's got the Citroen DS3 RRC as well, which is a fantastic piece of kit.
It is, and it's a turbo car. It's worth pointing out that there's only there's only one turbo car left in the rally now, and that is this car. It makes a big difference in this tight and twisty stuff, having the punch out of the corners. You have more torque. It's difficult to really explain the difference between the two unless you have two onboard shots. But the Super 2000 car that Jan Kopecky and Craig Breen are driving are naturally aspirated engines and rev a lot higher, have less torque, similar power, but definitely in this sort of terrain like we're seeing now, very twisty, first, second, third gear, they have more punch.
Well, he's on the downhill section right now. We're going to take ourselves a break. We'll be catching it up with him at the end of this, his final run on the Azores. Back in a moment.
80, prawy 3, no.